The theme of today's show is before ever trying to devise a plan to retire, one must first get one's financial house in order. In other words, before you can determine how much you can spend and how long the money might last, you must first get everything organized for someone like us, trained in the art of retirement planning, to put a plan together for you. That's because it is very difficult to know what you've got and what you might do with what you've got if what you've got is not organized in the first place. While there are many reasons people do not tackle the process of getting organized, I think the biggest culprit to putting this off is no sense of urgency to do so. And while it might be okay to put off organizing your garage, putting off organizing your financial affairs could be disastrous. Why? Well, according to the Bible, to put off doing something tomorrow that could easily be done today may not be in God's timing. Check it out in 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 1, where Isaiah the prophet says to Hezekiah, who apparently has put off getting his own house organized, this blunt assessment. Thus says the Lord, set your house in order, for you are about to die and will not recover. Sounds pretty gloom and doom, but friend, this message is as true gets, and in my humble opinion, not only applies to Hezekiah, but applies to anyone who can still fog a mirror. But it gets even worse when we think about dying and what happens to our stuff. Check this out. In Luke 12:20, where the rich man who has gleefully stored up treasure for the future just has his number called by God, and now, much to his surprise, it's game over. This notion of not knowing when we might die and thus waiting too long to use and enjoy our money is the very reason I wrote this game-changing book on money and retirement called Live Well, Die Broke. The purpose of this book is a simple reminder that none of us are getting out of this thing alive, and none of us will be able to take our prized possessions with us. In other words, not only do we all die broke, but to Isaiah's point, it is not up to us as to when we breathe our last breath, but that's up to God. So again, I must ask, why in the world do we so easily put off doing tomorrow, which we know in our heart of hearts we could do today? Especially when it comes to getting our financial affairs organized so that someone like us can see when you can retire and how to remain worry-free in it. And here's another point. Why, given the seriousness of the decision to turn your life savings over to anybody, why would you give all of your money to a complete stranger, or worse yet, an advisor who is not trained in the art of retirement planning? Folks, turning over your money to an advisor in retirement is possibly the biggest and most important financial decision you're ever going to make. So why wouldn't you work with a firm who can first get you organized and then has this proprietary game plan to keep you organized?
Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that video. If you'd like, check out these other clips and be sure to hit that like button and that subscribe button for more videos.